In this video I'm going to review the dining options on board P&O Aurora. And I'll show you both the complimentary and specialty dining options available and the ones that I would recommend for you to try. And I'm going to start in the Horizon restaurant, which is the buffet on board the ship. For a smaller ship, I felt the buffet was fairly spacious with plenty of room to move about. And there was ample seating available too. I'm going to show all 4 services and I'll be starting with breakfast. And here there's a good selection of fresh fruits available, along with some muesli and some yogurt. If cereal is more your thing, you can get it either pre-packaged or available in these tall dispensers. Here you can get porridge and golden syrup. And there are seeds, dried fruit and nut toppings available. Here is the cheddar cheese, some mortadella, some ham and some salami. There's a couple of choices of bread and rolls, along with condiments and a fresh fruit salad bar. And the cooked choices consist of boiled egg, fried bread, bacon, sausages, kippers and black pudding. And fried eggs, bacon, sausages, cooked tomatoes, baked beans and scrambled eggs. There are a couple of gluten-free items available. And there are pastries, pain au chocolat, muffins, croissants and pancakes. And while the scrambled eggs weren't up to much, everything else was pretty decent. If you've watched any of my previous dining reviews, you'll know that I do like a fresh omelette for breakfast. And there's an omelette station here. You just choose the items you'd like to have included and it's freshly prepared in front of you. And while it looked pretty decent, I think it needed another minute's cooking time. And next up is lunch, and on a sea day, this place is going to get very busy. This was the line for the hot food section. To be honest, I wasn't going to be waiting this long for food. And thankfully, there were plenty of other stations available. So I went to see what cold options were available, starting off with the rolls, breads and butter, along with a selection of cold cuts of meat, fish and filled rolls. And there was also a pretty good choice at the salad bar too. Now if you're somebody with a sweet tooth, then this is definitely the place to go. You can get crumbles, cakes, fresh fruit salad and chocolate brownies. And with all those desserts available, it was good to know you could get lashings of custard too. And there was a small area for foods for those with dietary requirements. Overall, I thought the lunch here was pretty good and I didn't go away hungry. I really did want to try the hot food, so I popped back here for some dinner. The meat for the roast was going to be beef and it did look really tasty. And this is where you can get your Yorkshire puddings, your roast potatoes and all of your veggies. And there are also some curries available too. And I'll be honest, I thought that the roast dinner was actually pretty good, but I'm not sure I waited in a long line to have it. And the Horizon Buffet became one of my late night haunts, as it also held the Syndicate Quiz, where you would join a group of fellow passengers to try and answer some very tough questions, all while enjoying some of the favourite foods from the buffet behind. And while we never won, at least we never came last. And considering that it's late, there's a good selection of food available. There are some filled rolls and a pretty decent salad selection. And if you fancy hot food, there's currywurst, quiches, fish and curries. and there are rolls and crackers to have with the cheese. And of course there's a few dessert items too. And as this is late night, you can get Horlicks and hot chocolate. This is one of the better late night buffets I've experienced on a ship. The amount of food available was good and it was being constantly refreshed. Although I wouldn't have the currywurst again, the sauce really lacked any flavour. Medina is the first of the ship's 2 main dining rooms. This is for freedom dining where you can sit with whomever you like or whenever you like, you just go there in person or join a virtual queue. Which is open for breakfast, dinner and lunch on sea days. And first things first is the breakfast menu. There's the continental breakfast which includes fruit juices, yogurt, cereals and fruit, along with some bakery items and some healthy options too. The hot choices are the classic P&O breakfast, English breakfast favourites and a choice of eggs. I started off with a cup of coffee, some jam on toast, a couple of croissants and an orange juice. And I had to go with the P&O breakfast, it's become such a tradition. It was pretty tasty and the service was good, I didn't wait very long. And overall, I do prefer to have a sit-down breakfast rather than the madness in the buffet. And now moving on to the lunch menu. The main dining room lunch on sea days on P&O ships is definitely something I enjoy, and they do offer an express lunch if you've got somewhere you need to be. Menu consists of sandwiches, lighter options, small plates and larger plates, along with some sides, drinks and desserts. And it was a bit of a shame that this staircase just wasn't in use. I decided to have a small plate as a starter, which was the shrimp fajitas, tortillas, guacamole and tomato salsa, which I can only describe as being just okay. For the main courses, the oven-baked lasagna with a garlic bread was actually really tasty. Although the favourite dish was the prawn marie rose baguette with chunky chips and salad. And for dessert, I went with a fresh fruit salad. And overall, I felt that the lunch here was actually really good. And now I'm back here for dinner. And this is the Celebration Night dinner menu. On Celebration Night, passengers get to dress up and the food in the main dining rooms is elevated. And something new for me was the ability to purchase either individual items or a 3-course meal. But I decided to stay with the included option. And after the bread service, I checked out the drinks menu. I've never bothered to purchase a drinks package on P&O because I think the prices are fairly reasonable. So we went with a bottle of Moretti and a Thatcher's Gold. And we all received an amuse-bouche of a carrot and pea soup, ginger and lime salsa. For my starter, I went with a cannelloni of poached and oak-smoked salmon. And while the presentation did look a bit odd, it tasted delicious. While my other half went for the crispy braised lamb bonbon and the curried corn-fed chicken Kiev. For my main course, I went with the classic beef Wellington, dolphin miles potatoes and vegetables in a rich Madeira sauce. And while the beef may have been cooked slightly too long for me, overall it was still an enjoyable meal. And for her dessert, my other half went for the trifle Wally Lad. And the highlight of the meal may well have been the rum savarin of raspberries, which was absolutely amazing. And overall I felt the meal was really good and I can't fault the service, all the food came out quite punctually. And the meal ended with these lovely petit fours. The second main dining room is the Alexander restaurant, which is for those guests who choose to participate in club dining. They have assigned seating and a set time to dine each evening. Due to long waits for a table at the Medina restaurant, we were told to come here for our dinner one evening. and this is a fairly typical P&O main dining evening menu. And there's a fairly good choice of starters, main courses and desserts. And there's also the chef's selection, which you can have as a meal or you can mix and match. For my starter I went with the Dutch style golden fried chicken croquette with onion rings and a spicy tomato sauce. I decided to pass on the rocket, and the croquette was nice and crunchy and the sauce was pretty tangy. And for my main course I went with the chef's recommendation of the mint crusted leg of lamb. And while the food was nice, the portion size was fairly small, which is probably why I enjoyed the late night buffet so much. And for dessert I went for my favourite, which is the cheese plate. The first of the 3 specialty dining restaurants is the Indian inspired Sindhu. And for the first time I booked to come here for Tiffin lunch. This is open on C days and is very popular, so if you'd like to dine here I recommend booking early. Here you get to create your own Tiffin lunch. From a selection of 6 dishes you can choose up to 3. So it was a fairly easy decision to go for one of each. And the restaurant also has an extensive wine list. And to be fair, I didn't think the price of the wine was too expensive. Along with a rather interesting sounding cocktail and a selection of beers, liqueurs and cognac. I decided to go for the East India Punch, which had a rather unique, sweet and savoury taste. And it wasn't too long until the Tiffin lunch boxes arrived. Thank you so much. From front to left in the first row is the tamarind glazed chicken breast, the paneer and sweet corn kebab and the cassava tea. And there's the deep fried squid, another tamarind glazed chicken breast and the mini dosa. And there's another mini dosa, the beef sheet kebab, and one more tamarind glazed chicken breast. I felt that the food here was absolutely incredible, it's highly recommended and such great value too. Although we didn't try any of the delicious sounding desserts as it was a very special birthday, so we got a birthday cake ordered in especially. You can do this at any restaurant, but please give them 48 hours notice and the cake costs £10. The second specialty dining restaurant is the Glass House. It's a popular location open for lunch and dinner and serves tapas, sharing plates and main courses. Or you could just sit with a pot of tea or get an alcoholic or non-alcoholic drink. And the P&O exclusive beer Jolly Ollie from Harvey's is available here. 2 pints of Jolly Ollie? Yes please. Unfortunately, that on my rather short sailing, the kitchen was closed, as they will be moving over to the new menu which I'd experienced the previous month on Ventura. So from here I'm inserting the menu from that sailing and showing you the food that I had. And there's no cover charge to eat here, all the dishes are priced a la carte. And the Glass House is curated by P&O food hero, author, columnist and wine expert Ollie Smith. We decided to go for the tapas from P&O food hero Jose Pizarro. And we chose the potato omelette, the lamb cutlets, the tiger prawns, the scallops and the ham bon iberico. All of these dishes were absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend coming to the Glass House. The Beach House is the third specialty dining restaurant. It's located at the rear of the buffet and it's open for dinner. There's a cover charge to eat here, which covers most of the items on the menu. And it has a Caribbean and Latin American inspired menu. However, there are a few that incur an additional upcharge. There's plenty of choice across the menu, so you don't really have to pay any extra if you don't want to. which is what I tell myself, and then I still go for an upcharge option. The lava rock steak here is absolutely fantastic. You can cut and cook it to exactly how you like it. It's easy to see why this is such a popular option. Between the two main pools is the Lido grill, which serves burgers, hot dogs, French fries and pizza, and is an ideal place to get a poolside snack. And here you can get a selection of ice creams, lollies and toppings, all for an additional charge. And room service is available should you wish to dine in your cabin. And while the breakfast is complimentary, the other items do attract a small upcharge. There's a good selection of sandwiches, large and small plates, and healthy options too. There's also desserts, sweet treats, and some late night nibbles should you feel a bit peckish after your night on board the ship. And of course you can get drinks. There's wines, spirits, beers, and soft drinks too. If you like your breakfast delivered to your cabin, you'll need to use this Rise and Dine card, where you get to choose how many of each items you'd like and when you'd like them to be delivered. I tend to order breakfast for the cabin on sea days so I can have a bit of a lie-in. And I can't fault the service, my cabin steward arrived with my breakfast bang on time. But because I booked a sea view cabin, I did miss not being able to have breakfast out on the balcony. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on.